Now it's 14. Yes. So we have just concluded the what do you call it again? This segment we've been doing now.
Check your mail after this. Just check your mail.
Oh God, workstation. And after that, now we are in the cold room. But the AC was getting too cold, so I had to close it. So I had to open it before I
people like you cannot be outside this country.
Yeah, hence the discussion of today. We are in, the cold room session of this show, and here we still have Bright Young and we have Danny Sucre. We'll be talking about the Japa syndrome. You want to come and overcloud all the people in this country. Everybody is going. It's like we remain 10 after everybody Japa finish. It's like we remain 10 in this Nigeria because it's getting a lot. Let's hear you, Bright.
Well, Japa syndrome. The thing is, everybody is looking for greener pasture. The funny thing is that the funny thing, the greener pasture, she not person plant down.
I tell you,
she not person water down.
Yes,
and that's the point. So if we're all looking for greener pasture, the thing again is, it's not everybody that needs to travel. Because I believe one thing personally. I believe that destiny is geographical. But if you're moving because you feel that everybody's moving and you're looking for opportunities, the point is you may not even have the freedom. Because I've heard a lot of people that say, man, you guys in that country, in your country, you people are enjoying freedom. People are enjoying freedom because what we can do here. My friend in Germany was saying something. No, in Canada. She's in Canada. Yeah, she was saying that now they're trying to eradicate some kind of cars. So the best way they are eradicating these cars is to build so much more. So they are billing on everything, like the tires. If you're using this kind of tire, they'll bill you. I mean, the bill is so high that you now keep that car and look for something like what they are looking for, the kind of car they're looking for, because they're looking for a kind of car that doesn't really emit almost all those I don't know what
maybe you're going to green energy and stuff like that. But let me break in there right now, because you see, when people want to Japa, now let's get it straight. I'm not a proponent of Japa because I believe so much in purpose and what you're called to do here on earth, but I also will not discourage anybody that wants to Japa. I'm not in their mind. I don't know if they've defined their purpose and if their purpose aligns with that. So I would not discourage anybody, but personally, I don't fall into that category of people that feel like they have to Japa. Now, with this analogy that you gave, Bright, you said your friend, they're trying to phase out. Let's just take that. Let's pick that scenario now. They're trying to phase out a particular kind of vehicle from their roads. Like you want to say, and they are billing and trying to increase the cost of using the previous cars. Yes, previous cars that they want to phase out. Now they have an option, and they have beautiful options. They have intra-city trains.
Yes, and that's what they want actually.
They have beautiful communal transport system. They have buses. You can live in the cities and not own a car and be very comfortable and effective. Go to work on time, come back on time, go for your appointments on time, feel safe, move around your objects, your load, wherever you move around these things beautifully well with no issues. That is exactly what it is. I think people who are jackbuying are necessarily not jackbuying because let me even tell you this, the number of the people who can't afford basic amenities of life, 3 square meal, shelter, or a decent means of income, those are the ones who jackpot through sheep, through Libya, through ferry. They just find a way to just leave, and then they do, and they
end up dying.
Honestly, so people just go through witchcraft. They should go and trust that one. Let's do like this.
This one.
I'm like this.
No, it's
granite.
No, it's Nigerian one. The Nigerian one is granite background. Broom.
Yeah, now or mop stick.
You cannot dance. Why do you see the dance they do?
It's part of the process. The mom stick now that thing. You hold up. The girl will not help you. You are now flying over crusade ground. Your flight will have problem. Just about, but you see, these people Japa through very painful. I don't know, it be illegal. Painful, it's hard, and it's sometimes it costs their life. Apart from the fact that it is illegal, and the countries they can go to is basically European countries, Italy, France, Germany. These countries that English is hard. They still have a bit of racism and human rights abuse, a little percentage of it in this country. You understand? Now those ones are very deadly means, but I'm talking about the educated ones, upwardly mobile young people that went to school, probably have a master's, probably has a bank job of about 120k, 150k, 200k, or probably works in the private sector in a probably HR, PR, marketing, anything, and they have a decent income. They are educated, probably have one or two skill, and they still want to Japa. Do you understand? Now those guys, I've tried to find out why exactly do you still want to Japa, and the bottom line is, for one, is I want to build a family, and I want to give my family, my kids, not even the best. Let me tell you, in this Japa, you don't even get the best. You just have. What you are calling the best, is normal.
Yes.
So what you're calling the best is normal. So they're just going to want to have a conducive environment. Yes. To have a chance to take my shot at life.
Basic things.
To take my shot at life. Let me go to school and let my school count. I have a skill, let my skill count. Let me work in an environment where we have equal opportunity, and I don't have to bring a note from a minister or a senator or a DG to get a job. And let me grow in my job and be due for a promotion or for a pay rise. I don't have to I don't want to use that word now, but I don't have to job left for somebody, or or be loyal to somebody because I need to get something. Do you understand? Let my children go to even the cheapest of schools. I know somebody, a senior friend, who works in a telecommunication company, one of the big ones, and has grown to a managerial position, and his wife in the bank. They have 3 kids. That home sees an average. This was about 7 years ago. That home sees an average of 2.7 million monthly. This was 7 years ago. Maybe the man brings 1.7, the man brings 1, but they've grown to earn that much. His salary, they don't have a business. His salaries. That home sees between 2 to 2.7 to 3 million monthly. 7 years ago. 7 years ago, they could afford a 2-bedroom in Otako, Jabi, thereabout. 7 years ago, they tried to go to good schools. And this, my senior friend, wrote IELTS. It's not like now that other options are coming out. You can bypass IELTS. You can bypass getting a job. Once you can afford a master's, you don't go. But then it used to be strictly IELTS or get a job. So it was stiffer. He had written IELTS 7 times.
Whoa.
Failed. His wife at the time had done 4 times. So
it was
you got the point they both were doing, so that anybody's own that works out, we move. At the time we're having this conversation, he was writing his 8 IELTS. His wife was writing her 5th at the time, and guess what? His wife's own clicked, and she got a job immediately as HR in Canada, and they moved. As they moved, she had to write for him as dependent to come over and join them. So they liquidated everything. And I asked, bros, why are you doing this? Like, in that sense, he wouldn't be. Maybe if he was single, he wouldn't have. But look at his 3 children. Look at those 3 kids. I mean, even if he can afford the best of schools for them, but he wants them to be safe. And then I didn't understand what he was saying until many years down. You hear issues of a good school that has maybe shuttle service, bus service, and the driver is driving. You don't have to worry about it. But again, the driver is reckless and an accident. What happened in Kubwa? late last year on Kubwa,
and it's not very expensive.
Some people can afford it, Martha. Some people can afford it in 2-2. In 2-1 or 2-1 there, right, in Kubwa. The car, and according to my wife who saw you, she was saying the guy was driving. People tell the guy, you're driving
children.
It wasn't too long. A gutter carrying children. Now the question is, that has happened. What would happen to the driver? We will all be fine. My pikin no die. Good news. And then is he or she injured? Any scratch?
No scratch.
In most cases, the parents just want to bear their cause. Say, the highest that will happen is that they will pull their kids out of the school, or they will stop them from using the bus service. But nothing has happened to the driver. So the system is flawed. And then if it's flawed, you cannot get the best. And if you don't get the best, somebody's life is at stake.
Not just life, the destiny.
Yeah, the destiny is at stake. So these guys are jackpying for a better life,
a better experience of life.
Yes. Wow. But there's another side to it, and that other side is, even where did the jackpot go?
Some people just
no sure
jackpot, because I don't know why. No, seriously, I don't know why I have a good job here. Most of them, I hope you know, they go to do menial jobs. Some of them end up washing plates. Some of them end up becoming drivers. You have a very good career. You are pursuing something very good here. You just leave all of that and go somewhere else where you don't even know. You don't even. The most painful part is that some people don't even go there with any sort of plan at all. All their own is, you know what, let me just jackpot from this country. And that's what we are trying to address, that syndrome. Some people go there with a purpose. Hear what he said. That one went there because, you see, I've seen too many things to just want to leave my life to chance, or leave my family and my children to chance. I've seen too many of those things. But now we're talking about those people that go there aimlessly.
It feels like a window of is an escape pod.
And now they are becoming crowded. The same corrupt people. Some of these Nigerians, that's the same lawless people. They are very lawless, very corrupt, do not adhere to any sort of instruction at all. They are going to gather themselves there again, and then you see the same thing will be replicating itself, or maybe not, because they have very strict rules there, and you receive consequence for everything you do. Almost immediately is working there. So they are so what exactly is happening with the youths? Because as I'm talking to you now, if not even 100, more than 100 people have sent in passports that I know. From last year to this year, I've known, like, let's say this is from August to this January now, I know about 30 people that have jackpot from this country.
Okay, so I thought my number was huge, but as I hear on my chest,
I've known
my chest big.
Yes, because even if it's from school, people from school, they've jackpot, people you've worked with before, all around, everything is up to 30 people that have jackpot.
On the other hand, again, like what you were saying about purpose, you're looking at purpose, and some people just feel that, the impression they give, it's like somebody left, and then you can see, man, this person on the fat up, or this person on the grow, you feel that, okay, this thing now is working, because the impression they're giving is, oh, we've gone there, life here is very easy, very cool, very stable, but I'll tell you that there are a lot of people who were better off
yes, definitely
than there. Because, like you said, you talked about purpose. I also I said that destiny is geographical. There are people who don't have any reason or business to moving anywhere. The thing is, if you also know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, there's no plan, there's no arrangement, all the plan you have was just moving out. So when you get there, you now realize that this one is a different thing altogether. Then I ask you, where is this one? Where is this one? You say, I thought when you people said that when we just arrived.
You will be lost.
I thought you people said.
The thing is, I feel it's the doctors that even have a legit reason.
No, it's easier for them because there is
it's easier.
It's easier.
Not legitimate. Right? Everybody has a legitimate reason why they should leave.
No, it's not everybody. I'm telling you now that there are people that I know people that have traveled. They are going to wash plates. You are here. You are a data analyst in Abuja.
Yeah.
In Nigeria. Wait, they'll pay them there. But some of these guys just learn it. They just learn it. No official school. They just learn it.
Soft skills.
Now you see, data analyst go wash plates.
Do you understand? They'll go there because they don't have
it's lucrative over there.
It's lucrative over there, but they don't have everything is certified.
It's easy.
Do you understand? If you get a job, for you to get it, everything is certified over there. Before I am able to work as a data analyst over there, then I have a certification.
Now that's another conversation that those who are Japa are not understanding.
Yes.
Because again, the law offices are flexible here in the country.
Very flexible.
Very flexible. For example, this one you just said.
Yes.
Nigeria is growing into a place where the skill set will matter.
Yes.
Will matter.
And it's very close.
It will matter big time.
Yes.
And now, when you have that, like, I know somebody. At the time I met him in a particular radio station, he had been on radio for almost maybe 18 or 19, for almost 20 years. Guess what? It was after he did his HND that he was a studio rat, producing in Jos, and he's good at production. From there, he had moved stations in Jos back and forth before he now joined the station where I was. I met him, and he came in as the head of production. HND, that long IT you go and stay, and he never went back to school. He's married, he has kids, and he's been taking care of his family from being a radio station head of production. Do you understand? There are stations that when they start now, most of the gigs he gets is when the station comes up, they want to do stingers and IDs and sweepers and everything to just their ID to flood everywhere. They just give him that job, so he can just produce like 1,000 of them, 500 audio files. He can take weeks working, how he tweaks his voices, how he gets foreign voices to do these things. He's good. But that guy, we had a conversation, and it was when he went for HND, and he speaks well. For HND, he doesn't have a certificate to tell you
that
I went for a training. No, maybe he interned under someone, saw the guy was doing his stuff, and that was how.
Plus maybe
and Nigerians are very sharp. Yes, Nigerians are very sharp.
That was how the
I
guy
was hearing
up.
Trump. Sorry, I was hearing Trump. That was the last time before Trump was, overthrown. He was talking about
something overthrown.
It's more like it now. He was I think they were assigning informal education. In this case, where people get certified informally into certifications. More like they have, maybe you're a hairdresser, you get the certificate and all that, so you can use it. I think they did that, or maybe they were about to do it. Don't you think that if we have that kind of system in Nigeria, knowing that Nigeria have people with many skills, some people who are doing well today are actually having just normal skills that they actually built into something.
Yeah.
And if we're waiting for a system where, because where people have issues now, you say I'm not employed, I'm unemployed. You meet a lot of people, they say I'm unemployed. The reason is because they are looking for that certificate.
Yes.
They want to use that, I'm a petrochemical engineer, and then, but when you can actually do tiling, and you know that you love tiling, you cannot, but you know that you've spent years studying.
Let me just shock you now. Do you know that most of the people that jackpot from Nigeria, they go back and weld. They will weld outside the country,
and they can't weld here.
Do you know what they do? There's an institution or an academy or whatever it is that they will stay here for 3 months. So that they will have the certification, which is internationally recognized.
Ooh.
Then they go out. Even truck drivers.
No, that one.
You said they will weld. You're not gonna weld. You have to weld you.
Seriously.
Why I go weld? See, no. See,
it's how much they get from just welding.
But it makes sense now.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that most of them go there with the certificates. That's the proof that I know this thing. Yeah. So they will go over there and go and weld, something that they will not do here ordinarily, because they've.
How many graduates will wash plates in one of the finest eateries?
They will not. So you see this
and that's what we're looking at now. If we can inculcate that, it's easier for people to say, okay, I've graduated here and all that, but I can do this.
And
because it's what you can do, and you have the certificate, so that okay, I'm a professional plate washer.
Oh, that they will forge it. You know the problem is they will forge it. You know, most of these schools, people don't actually attend the courses and all those stuff.
In Nigeria,
yes, some people do. They don't. They just go and pay money. Yes, they pay there and they get the certificate. Yes. So they don't actually have the skill, and that's why you see most people, they finish employing them. They've made mouths. If you see their CV. Jesus, if you see their CV, they're supposed to run oil companies, but they can't do anything. You see their heads blocked. They just have those certifications piled up, and so now.
But that's another annoying part.
Yes,
that you just have certificates.
You just have certificates that you don't.
And there's nothing to show for it.
You don't know how to do any of the things you have. So this is, and now, do you know there's a silent revolution in this country that a lot of people don't know.
Tell us about it.
The time where your skill is going to pay you is very close here. And when you japa, you come back now.
And you're taking the back seat.
You are taking the back seat. You see now, do you know what is happening now? Even if you study in Mali, as far as it's not Nigeria, you go to a company. Do you know they will give preference to that person over you? I've seen companies where they say they prefer international students.
Yes. Yes.
Do you see that?
Because again, the education system has been flawed.
Yeah.
There's a school, I don't know if they still do it. There's a school in southeastern part of Nigeria. That's the best this thing I will give. Southeastern part of Nigeria, a private school. You can go there. In fact, the school was when it started known as a hub for rusticated students.
Wow.
So you're rusticated from your university, maybe at 300 level. You go there and say, I want to start at 200 level. They calculate school fees for you, calculate some extra money on top, arrange you what do you call this thing now, transcript to cover for 100 level, 200 level, or 100 level, then start at 200 level, or both of them start at 300 level. Yes. And in 2 years, you actually now start from 300 level, finish up. The heavier the weightier the bread, the farther the level. So you can say, I have bread. I just want to do your final exams. I want to do the final year and move. That's exactly what they do.
Yes.
And so they have now become a hub for rusticated students, and it's really bad. Now you don't blame organizations when they now come up with some policies that they will only take international students, or very few private universities that they have some level of confidence in, and that's because the system is flawed.
So you see this Japa thing, I don't know, I've thought about it, because if you see the people wanting to Japa here, you can't do anything with your life here. Some of them don't, if they're clueless about their goals, they've not even sat down to think about these things. All they want to do is just go.
So let me give you guys a few statistics here. So only 32% of the 4,500 young people interviewed aged 18 to 24. Okay, so let me start from here. A survey was done by the African Youth Survey 2022, and it's published by Guardian newspaper, and it's saying that of the 4,500 young people they interviewed between 18 to 24 across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 African countries, only 32% were optimistic about Africa's prospects. According to the survey, a drop of 11% since the last survey of its kind published in early 2020. So in 2020 they had a survey. So if you add 32 plus 11, it will give you 43. So in 2020, a survey was done for young people across Africa, aged 18 to 24, and 43% of people that they interviewed were optimistic that Africa has prospects. Now, these surveys were in relation. Okay, so yeah, you saw 15 countries. These surveys were in relation to the whole Japa syndrome. The reason for those who were unoptimistic ranged from the pandemic, the climate crisis, political instability, and violence. Now, fast forward to 2 years after, that's 2022, the same body did another survey, and this survey, those who were optimistic dropped by 11%. So we now have 32% of the 4,500 young people interviewed, ages from 18 to 24, that were optimistic about Africa's prospects. So if you have a number from 18 to 24, and so if you say 32%, let's do a quick maths now. 100% minus 32%, 68. So 68% from this survey done believes that there's no hope for the future for Africa. They were unoptimistic of the future of Africa. Their reasons are tied within the pandemic, climate crisis, political instability, and violence. Let's now come home to Nigeria. Our own everything follow plus NSAS, plus corrupt and bad leaders, plus attack on young people. Insurgency, fine, we can say it's a global phenomenon. It's a global it's a global issue, and the international community is dealing with it. I mean, more advanced countries are dealing with terrorism. We can make a pass for them, but let's come to talk about SARS and talk about the attack on young people, and talk about bad leadership, and talk about nepotism, and talk about religious crisis. As petty as that, Jos and Kaduna, they're having their own share of it, which is totally unacceptable. And now these young people are tired, and they're saying, if this continues, what is the hope that we would have a future? Like I said, just as I personally do not encourage or I haven't thought about it. I haven't sat down to think, to nurture that thought to Japa. I personally have not. I would not stop any young person or discourage any young person from having that thought and working. If you don't have plan, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you. Me that I'm saying here is that, like I said, for some of us, and Bright, you will understand, our life is more divine than physical. So there are instructions, and we work by purpose and instructions. Do you understand? You don't know whether in my secret place somehow I'm still begging God that allow me. You see, we did here because of you.
It's more expedient for me to leave, but however, because of you.
But you know,
I've got to beg. You need to check this thing.
But see,
check your schedule again for me. You know, a friend of mine who had moved to Canada, we had a reunion. So the circle I grew up in church, we usually have an annual reunion, and he got married in December, so he came back to get married and everything. And then we had a reunion. I mean, he was around, so we said, okay, let's just have a reunion, and we had it. And I think we had this in one of our friends' house, and I walked into one of the bedrooms to change Kimberly. So Kim was with me, so I walked into the bedroom to change her up. Okay. Then he followed me. And he was like, Baba, I know say you now be spiritual man, but you know say you go get prospect if you come Canada.
I see.
You know say it's sure for you. But the way you did for this country, the way you did, you know say, let me just tell you. Do you know I was driving, I had an accident and I had a knee problem. You know, in October I had a knee surgery. Wow. And the knee surgery ordinarily should have cost me $16,000. But I didn't pay a dime because I'm on health insurance. Do you know that the insurance for my car was worth $4,800? The insurance paid me $3,500. At least I go still man, you know, do that. Do you also know that this April will make it 3 years that I went there, so I can now apply for my PR. He was telling me, Baba, check him. Even if he said what I did, even in a ministry. You go steal, you go mix. I was just talking, I just look the guy. I did change, I did look the guy. I say, waiting this up. This could be good.
No, but seriously, waiting this up. That's why I'm saying you need to have a legit reason, because a lot of times some of my friends say, wow, what are you still doing here? Even people that don't have legitimate reason to be there, they are there. But you are here. You understand? So it's now like people will not get business to Japa, Japa. You will go even do well for there. You know,
the reason
Japa. That's where purpose comes in.
Yeah.
If you know what you're pursuing, I tell you, in case you say Japa tomorrow. Nah, I not tell you something you know Japa. I say Japa with a reason and have a plan. Do you understand?
You're just trying to play devil's advocate here.
It's not devil's.
Or you're trying to be diplomatic or technical.
No, see, let's say I have it. I've been saying it. Let's say I have a particular skill.
Let me tell you.
Wait,
okay, finish.
Let's say I have a particular skill. I'm looking. Maybe we're talking about certifications and everything. Do you understand? There are certain things I do that I know that I don't have any certification to back it up. It's something I grew to know. Or I learned it, a personal development. Do you understand? I cannot decide to say, do you know what? Let's make it certified or let's make it formal. If we want to pursue this thing, which are the best organizations or schools, institutions that can, do you understand? And certifications that can be accepted worldwide, rather. If accounts is in UK, well, I'll go.
That's why I said you're being technical with the truth. Because let me tell you. I
will go.
Not be who get purpose. Not be who get purpose. But they environment where the purpose go materialize.
Japa and go and stay there. Do you understand? I can school there. And that's because the system here.
But looking at it like from the Nigerian perspective now, let's be patriotic a little bit. What can we even do as a people if we are saying, okay, like there are certain things you really want to. I have a cousin, my cousin said since before this whole Japa thing came up, he was like, I want to study something biology related to biology, but he wanted to go all the way deep into it. And at that time he said that Nigeria was not even a good space to even start in that area.
Yes.
Since then, he was already making his plans, working towards it, and this was about maybe almost 10 years now. That's when he left. A young guy, he just finished school. Almost, he said he's not going to university and all that, and he left. But you can see within 4 to 5 years, 6 years, he had done his PhD. He had finished school, done his PhD, and he's now doing so well there. The point is,
when he was leaving, what did he say he was going to go and do?
I think it was something around microbiology or
No. Did he say he was going to school or he just wanted to leave?
He was going to school. That he wanted to study appropriately because he had passion for something that.
Oh, okay.
And do you know? Have you seen this meme online where they say that if you go to hell and if you see the devil, tell him that you did PhD, he will allow you to go back to heaven because that's enough hell. Do you know how many years it will take you to get your PhD?
The thing was
masters
for him.
This is in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. And forget that.
It was really fast.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
Yes.
Really, PhD. This guy is. He didn't do PhD at 30s. He did it at his 20s.
You see that?
So when you see somebody who say I have a PhD, somebody who has a master's here at that point, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago was like.
Even me, my own master's what they do.
You don't understand. It's hard. They make it very difficult here to get everything.
It's a system problem. I feel that Nigeria has a lot that we can offer if we utilize them.
Sorry, do you know there's this particular school? I'm not going to call the name because it's related to one of all these. That school. Anybody that comes is in Nigeria here. Anybody that finishes from that school, they do extremely well. Do you know why? When they get into that school, they ask you your interest, right? You come in there with your interest. And if it is business, do you know how they do it? They do employer-employee system. Every semester, you get to employ your fellow students, right? And you guys will run a business for the period of that semester. You can fire anybody you fire has failed the course. Anybody you employ, anybody you promote. Do you understand? They give a real life simulation of the workspace entrepreneurship in that school. And I can tell you, one of the people that have graduated from that school, maybe one of these days we'll bring that person on this show. He's now supplying coal for Dangote or so, exporting coal. They do. I'm telling you, when I tell you extremely well. They do extremely well. I bet you tell me that school. How can we? As I did here now, making better figure in that school.
Let's have like a
prototype of these schools. Because you see what they do in the UK. Yes, now you see what they do in the UK.
Yeah.
There are children that just finished from primary school, finished from secondary school. There's nothing like university. What do you want to be? I want to be a musician. They take you there,
all the way out.
And that's why when they are good, they are extremely good.
Yeah.
Do you see that? So this one, we will study 15, 20 courses that we have no business with.
Of it is and we think that the accumulation of courses makes you bigger. It gives you this whole sense of I have done this.
They never teach you second semester course. Second semester course when you use first semester exam. They join your head is scattered because different 100 courses. Waiting.
I think it's the intensity of attention.
It's too
that
much.
You give to stuff.
Then ASU will not go on strike. The ASU will not do 6 months on strike. Then you will not come back. And when you come back, you
pay for your sins.
They get one particular course for school.
You have been at home and studying. You say I studied when I was at home.
Yes.
So they crash
everything.
There's a particular course then in school. Then because I studied theater and media arts, that course did not teach me anything one day, but I write the exam. I read
yes now theater was
strike and media
now theater now just be playing and be jumping up and down.
It's play. Go my father, it's play. It's not a joke. That a lot of people think that course is very, very light, but you see most people fail the course because when you are doing your practicals you have to now study. Practical is just half of one course, but it takes all your time.
Wow.
And then you now have to study for other courses. What of the people that don't have any business on stage? What of the people that don't have, they think they want to do things like public relations, they want to do things like folk media, they want to do all these things, but you now make them do half of one course for all every day. You are rehearsing.
I beg the school where you go.
Do you understand?
No, you go. I don't want to know.
See,
what we talk about? That one I want to know after this show.
But seriously, that's
that one.
These are the things. Why they are jackparing, I know they have legitimate reason to jackpar because the country is not working, the system is bad, it's flawed, there's no justice, blah blah blah. We can continue singing the problem, but how about we? My own problem is if we are all running away, how do we fix
the country?
Now elections are coming. Everybody still a go.
You have pulled a trigger. Let me tell you.
You no go talk. You want tell me now? You know.
If you say that our numbers, because right now you say everybody don't they go.
Everybody.
Pre-election. Wait. Let election finish and let the result come out, and let the result tilt to a particular candidate that everybody is not looking out for.
Oh really?
They will jackpot the more.
If you did Guaripa, shout my name, I go hear you.
No, but it's not a joke.
Let the candidates.
A lot of people are waiting for the outcome of the election.
The post-election, we would have massive exodus. People are just waiting to see what happens in the election. And if the result doesn't go the way they think, see.
Everybody will jack.
Maybe even this guy, what would they see here?
He don't talk about that. He said it before the show.
No, the result will further. But let me tell you, if the result goes in line with what people similarly expect, there may be a drastic reduction. Just to gauge and see
what the person is going to.
Personally, I know about 2-3 people who are waiting, and these guys are single. So the reason why they don't even want to get entangled is to just delay first.
Have we talked about how that's it? Have we talked about that?
So
that's
the election goes.
That's my direction.
If election goes around my suspended area, then I will just probably get a relationship and hope that it gets better and build my life here. But if it no go, now the reason they don't want to get entangled is because if you don't go, I go move. You can move. So I don't want whole person down. You can move easily when there's no entanglement.
And you know that's
the way you talk about. I go down.
No, but seriously, this has been this what young boys say now. Jackpot, are we jackpot compatible? Yes, now they say they don't live. Seriously, a lot of people say that.
What is coming on?
Do you know what? I'm not dating. Like I will Japa compatible so that let's Kukuman know. So that yes, a lot of people do it now. So that if my mind is to Japa, your own is not to Japa. So that let's be pursuing the same thing.
I saw one statistic.
So funny enough, I think I heard something like this though, but I didn't even know that. Okay, that's what is even that was what they were meaning. Oh, that's nice then. If you're Japa compatible.
Anyways, World Bank has said that 50% of Nigerian youths want to leave the country.
Yes, no.
That's World Bank report. Wow. It will get worse.
50%
of our youth. If 50%,
that's half of
the workforce. That's the report.
And who are you going to blame?
And that's the safe place to wrap things up here.
Yes.
Thank you very much for hanging with us on the cold room. We've had Bright Young join us for the last hour up until this hour, and we have been speaking about the Japa syndrome. Head out, if in case you missed the beginning of the conversation, head down to our YouTube page, Eagles FM Abuja on YouTube, and catch the full gist. And that's where we officially wrap up the show.
Yep, it was an interesting one.
So
I think we'll be having what's his name, Bright Young.
Thank you.
A whole lot.
As well as the way you're doing your hand like this.
No, the conversation is smooth. Dan is so creative.
All right, fam. We'll see you tomorrow. The midweek edition of the Media Extra.
Do not go anywhere. I am Martha. Go and check me on Instagram. What are you doing? Follow me.
I'm going to collect your PVC.
Yes,
PVC. Very, very important.
All right, fam. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Why do you want to run?
Good tunes just don't stop. The good tunes just don't stop. Eagles 102.3 FM.